What's happening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of One-on-One with the Supervillain with me, the resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington. This is going to be a weird one. It's going to be kind of uncomfortable. But God damn it, I'm going to make it happen because I'm cramped into space to do this. Wish we had more space. It's not more space. Well, it's because of the time of day. But nonetheless, most of these are being done right now. If you see the difference in the background, I'm in my hometown of Chicago. And I sometimes sneak here. I don't tell people I'm here. I come in, I leave. But because I was here, everything fell into place with this brother. So he's been supporting me for a while now. And I've been grateful for support every step of the way for years. And then, you'd always hear him leaving messages on the Mad Type podcast. So I talk about this nigga's voice so much. But then he did something that really touched my heart. He joined the Supervillain Squad. He didn't have to, but he joined at this special tier, the one-on-one with Supervillain tier. And I was like, yo, I got to set up his interview. But I was like, hey, I'm at the crib. Can you do today? Because he was telling me his work schedule. I was like, can you do that today? And he's like, yeah. So I got the homie Chauncey Woodson with me. Chauncey,
what's going on, brother? What's going down? What's happening?
How you been?
Been cool, man. Just been trying to survive this.
You ain't got to keep looking.
Right.
It's just going to be weird. Like I said,
right.
We're on wooden stool. Ain't got glass.
Right. Trying to give you all the room possible.
Hey,
it's like being playing almost. I get it.
Yeah, man.
Right.
So what you were saying?
No, not much, man. I just been trying to survive this whole Rona crap. Been working my 9 to 5 or whatever. By day I drive forklift for a hardware company. Just trying to make sure the bills taken care of and paid. Other than that, I just chill out, relax with friends and family.
As best as you can.
Oh yeah, because with all this stuff, you can't hang out with everybody like you used to, and all that jazz. So that's all I've been doing, and catching on my shows and movies as I progress. That's about it.
I realize it probably sounds hella low till I fix this microphone. That's on me. That's on me. It's there though. It's there.
It's there.
Yeah, you already know the same thing, man. Just trying to stay busy.
Right.
I came home to get away from all the craziness in Los Angeles. And it seems like I'm gonna decide to go someplace else from here on out. And here's why I say that.
Okay.
Whenever shit go crazy in LA, and when you shut shit down, I'm like, you know what, I can't do this. I'm gonna go home. Things might be better at home. It's over some shit. Like, the last time I did this and I came out here was the day when all the protests and shit, the riots were going on. And I was like, yo, it's cool in Chicago. I'm gonna go home. I came home that same night. Shit had already gone up. I said, are you fucking kidding me? And so I get it. I don't feel like it's me bringing the drama and shit, but sometimes I want to get out and do things different. Plus, I like coming home. I haven't really been home in the summertime in a long ass time. It's been a very long time since I've been home in the summer. And there's something about summertime shy, even though it's a different situation this year, that you just feel, something feels different and right about it. And so being outside, even if I don't go to many places, being outside, being able to just see the trees and the neighborhoods, I grew up with and shit like that, man, it's a good thing, man. So this whole thing, as you already know, this ain't about me.
Oh no,
this ain't about me. It's about you, me, just talking, whatever's on your mind, bro. Because we get a chance to catch up in spurts.
Exactly.
So I was telling somebody the other day, people look at this like a meet and greet, right? It's a different story. Like, it's for you, support, and I appreciate it.
Right.
But with a meet and greet, you meet somebody, you go shake their hand,
for sure,
take a picture,
and call it a day.
That's a meet and greet. This is like we just talk for an hour.
Exactly. Just kick back, chill, do what we do, man.
Whatever you got.
Because, when you was mentioning stuff about Chicago, some people fail to realize that Chicago got mad love, mad beauty around outside of all the media crap that people want to paint us as. Oh yeah, that jabroni. So it's like, because the other day, on my off time, I occasionally do photography stuff or whatever, whether it's digital or 35 millimeter film. I grab my camera, give them a shoot on or whatever, see where I go with that. And it's like, for example, how that you got the Museum of Science and Industry, you got that back area in there, and that joint there is like a whole nother freaking world, man. Matter of fact, it's called Bubbling Meadows.
Yep.
That joint right there is awesome.
But that's something only people from Chicago would know.
Right. You're right.
People who've been here long enough. People, like even people who've been in the city some years, unless you know the city.
Exactly.
Like you might think you know the neighborhoods and know certain shit, but you don't know the beauty the city holds. Like, because people know just the beauty off the touristy shit.
Exactly.
They know the beauty off of what they see or what they can, hear about. Dog, I always tell people all the time, I get into it a lot of times on social media, especially with people where it's like, yo, stop talking about the city. You ain't never been to the city.
Exactly.
Yeah, you hear shit on the news. You see shit on the news. Okay, I can tell this one lady on Facebook, I was like, albeit terrible, all the shootings, all the shit we go through, not justifying it. But yo, there's a saying we have, and you know it. If we lived through the 90s here, you can make it through today.
Exactly.
Because the 90s were way fucking worse.
Oh, yeah, definitely worse.
You know what I'm saying? So people forget that. People forget that the 90s was hell on it. Like when they said you couldn't go outside, that was what the 90s was.
I'll give you a prime example on that. When I was going to high school, I remember one morning I was going to high school. 2 CPD officers pulled up on me while I was waiting on a bus. They frisked me and searched me, talking about I fit the description of somebody they was looking for a robbery. This is freaking 7 a.m. in the morning. Right before I'm about to go to school. And I'm like, I ain't know what the hell to do. I mean, I didn't make no sudden moves. I ain't try to pull nothing. But it was just like, what the fuck? What description do I fit at 7 a.m. with a book bag? Exactly.
Like that? Yeah.
And keep in mind, this is like back in the 90s. And back then, brother had hair. Had the high top fade and everything like that going on. So it's like, okay, like you said, what description do I fit?
I've always hated that line, the you fit the description line, because it's an easy cop out.
Exactly.
Shit. I fit the description of certain things like, oh, what's the description? We're looking for a 6'3". First of all, you really got the wrong
oh my God.
You really got the wrong nigga. You looking for a 6'3". Right. What the fuck you thought this was? Like, I wish I was 6'3". If you said you fit the description of a 6'3" nigga, that might be me. I don't check just so I can feel good about my height.
Right.
But people see all this shit, man. They keep hearing all this shit, and they keep thinking that that's all the city is. And again, it's only centralized in certain areas. And of course, when you see the numbers, oh my God, 87 shot and 4 died. And it's like, yeah, again, it's fucked up. Very fucked up. What about all these babies dying? It's fucked up. But unfortunately, it's been a Chicago thing. But at the same time, I say this everywhere. You know I say it.
Oh, yeah.
Chicago ain't even top 10 in murders.
Oh, no. Definitely
like,
not.
24 out of 25.
Exactly.
Out of the top 25, Chicago's 24. So it's like, stop putting it. You only focus on the city because it's black people. It's primarily black people. And that's the reason people focus on this shit. And so it is really fucking frustrating at the end of the day, man.
Very much so. And like, kind of going back to another thing too, like, we know this show, doubletoasted.com. We know about them brothers. One of the guys who used to be on the show, he's no longer on the show there. He used to kind of say some slick stuff about Chicago, kind of joking about, oh, you're going to get shot up. Oh, you're going to get shot up. But when Double Toasted themselves finally showed up at Chicago, granted, they did a show like at the Park West area or what have you. Didn't shit go down? Everything was cool. Everything fine. And I even told them cats, we're like, hey, tell your guy, chill out with all that negative talk about Chicago.
That's why a lot of them try to do that. A lot of people, and I don't know those Double Toasted cats personally. I've
always
meeting, I had a chance to.
Right.
But a lot of people have tried to do that, where they be like, oh, well, Chicago tried to say some slick shit about Chicago around me. And I'm like, that's what you're not going to do.
Exactly.
I was like, because what you're not going to do is act like the actions of a few certain neighborhoods reflect the whole
everybody.
Because it
doesn't.
It don't. I got tired of hearing people going like, oh, you can't go outside because you're going to get shot, or you go in this neighborhood, you're going to get shot. I was like, no. And that was one of the crazy things. It was coming from a lot of white people I knew. And I had to tell them straight off the gate, like, yo, do you realize your ass safer in the neighborhood than I am? Like, because if you go there and some shit happen to you, you bring the police at a whole lot of
national news,
you
all
bring
that
everything to the block that don't nobody want.
And
also, when two people talk some black on black crime, which ain't a fucking thing. But it's like, if a nigga I know popped another nigga I know, the nigga number one is going down for sure.
Oh yeah.
Well, if they don't catch him immediately, they're gonna catch him. If they don't catch him, if the people don't catch him, the street don't catch him. Something's gonna happen. But it's a difference. And so it frustrates me to no end, because like now I think yesterday or the other day, I was looking at Twitter and I saw that Chirac was trending again. And it was CH-Iraq. And I was like, see, this that bullshit, not from the movie, this that bullshit from what dude in the White House is saying. And motherfuckers who have no idea what goes on here automatically thinking, but you're not hearing about the shit in West Palm Beach. Shit in the southern states where you got Louisiana, New Orleans, and sometimes in Atlanta, all this shit, these motherfuckers go crazy, but you never hear it. And so it frustrates me, like, because it's always people who aren't even here. And then you see a lot of shit on social media where people are like, oh, all these killings, this gangbanging shit. It's like, yo, first of all, you don't give a fuck about the neighborhood.
You definitely don't give a fuck.
You don't give a fuck. So stop acting like you do.
Exactly.
You don't give a shit about nothing that's going on. So stop acting like you care. Like you don't care about anybody, any of these kids. Excuse me, any of the kids. I get so frustrated with drama.
No, I feel you.
You don't give a fuck about the kids. You don't give a fuck about the neighborhoods, the real shootings. You just want to act like you care. Like I had to check one dude the other day. He was like, oh, nobody's protesting all these people. I said, you're a fucking liar because they do. I said, you don't know what goes on. It's just that shit don't make national news every day.
And see, what kills me about it too, whether it's like white or especially some of our own people, they always want to go with this hearsay analogies and all this hearsay stuff. Like I got this term that I made up and I want to share what you call hearsay hotepery. Because every time I see you on the book, bro, how you be going in on these hoteps, I'm like, hearsay hotepery.
That's something. For people who don't understand what a hotep is, these are like the black people who think they are beyond woke, who think every single thing that happens is part of an underlying agenda by the man. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of shit that happens to black people that is direct result of systemic racism. Absolutely. But every single fucking thing ain't that. And it's even those will be like, well, you know, you brothers don't care about other brothers and sisters. You just want to protest because it's in the news. Like, shut the fuck up.
Dumbasses, man.
I can tell one. So the same dude I was talking about, he was like, anybody, protesting about these. So I told him, I was like, yo, don't act like you give a fuck because you don't.
You don't.
You don't. And he was like, well, I've been posting about her for some weeks. I said, oh, so 2 weeks and I'm supposed to give you a fucking medal? So what did I do? I went to dude's Facebook page. For 2 weeks, he never posted about this chick. This black girl.
Okay.
Fair.
Right.
But as we go further back, ain't shit about a black person at all. So don't give me this, you all of a sudden care. You only quote unquote care because you're trying to make a statement. And first of all, it's a political statement, which this shit ain't about for politics.
Oh, no.
I mean, granted, it all comes down from politics. We can go back to Reagan in 84 and all this other shit, what he did. And we can go to the 94 crime bill, which is why niggas don't understand why the shit that's going to happen, why the shit that's allowed to happen can happen. But that's neither here nor there. But it's like, I go through your feed, you say you care. I don't see shit that says that. Because if you were about it, you would constantly say something about it.
Exactly. You would be on people's necks like that, but you're not. And
then don't get me started with black people. Because man, I got some people I love to my heart, like family.
For sure.
Who will say some things and I'm like, you're going to make me tell you about yourself. And we're not going to be cool no more. Because I'm going to have to put you in your place.
Sometimes it's got to come to that, though, man. For people to truly wake the fuck up. Not being woke, but just truly wake the hell up and just get this shit together.
Yeah, I think, my ass cheeks on this stuff. That's what's going to make this real. There's a litany. Go sit down, buddy. Go. Stop trying to be nosy. The dog is trying to watch you on the conversation. Sitting there trying to be part of it.
Hey, doggy.
I think the thing is, everybody thinks that what happens in communities, not just black communities, not just brown communities, white communities, is automatically supposed to be dealt with and done overnight.
It can't.
It can't.
As much, and not to cut you off, but as much as like how we talk about stuff like reparations and stuff like that, you can have every other, hotep or would-be scholar, what have you, whether it be, doing anything on Instagram or the black sector, YouTube, wherever, you can have them preach every other day about getting it done, but it's like, it's not going to happen overnight right away, as much as we would like it to.
Move, buddy. Go. Go over there. This is loud. Go, buddy. Go. Go sit down. Buddy. Go. Thank you. Buddy, go. This is happening when I'm supposed to be doing this one-on-one. This is what I like. It's unedited, it's candid. I'm going to keep all this shit in here. But I can hear you while you're talking while I deal with him. Come on.
Because, like how you got people who subscribe to the likes of, say, a Tariq Nasheed or Boyce Watkins, Claude Anderson, stuff like that. Yeah. And they'll preach about how, hey, we need to get reparations done. We need to have the necks on, our foot on their necks and so on and so forth. But it's like, you can shout up to the heavens about it, but it's not going to happen right away.
The biggest thing that has always been said about how we deal with this as people, first and foremost, as a Black community. Well, damn, I didn't realize that it broke on the chair. Oh shit. We'll talk about that later. How we deal with things as a community, first and foremost, is we always say you deal with it in your voice by voting.
Right.
And when it comes to voting, of course, we look at the candidates, we look at options, and we see that they are not all we want them to be. Right. We understand that a lot of candidates speak that they have our best interests at hand, and they don't. And that even is for those from our own communities. It's absolutely the fucking truth. Mm-hmm. It just really sucks when we claim, and just we as a society, claim to have all these answers to all these big problems and issues we deal with, but never have a path to getting to it.
Right.
I can have a solution all day. If I'm a chemist, right? Mm-hmm. Case in point, I'm a biomolecular engineer, right? I develop vaccines and cures.
Right.
I know what I want, the vaccine for the coronavirus, for this iteration of this novel virus. I need a vaccine for it. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's all. Because if I don't do anything to get to that, then it's all pointless.
Right.
I can be here on my channel, on a podcast, on a stage, or like people on their YouTube channels just doing it constantly every day, like you say, talking shit about it. Right. But I'm not doing anything besides just talking shit, trying to use you to get views, to get numbers so I can make myself known, to get money. If I'm not doing anything that's actual work, then it don't fucking matter.
It doesn't.
It don't matter. And again, people always say, well, you selling out, you're not supporting your people. Like, yo, I'm gonna always support my people, but I'm not gonna support bullshit. Exactly. There is a gigantic difference amongst the two. I will not. I'm gonna stand up just so I can feel better about myself. I'm not. My ass hurts. I would have angled this up a little, but y'all already told you what this is. I won't support bullshit.
I feel you.
I don't care who it is in our community. Like, there's movies that come out we're supposed to go see because they're Black. I'll go. I support any director, actor, anybody that gets the opportunity.
Right.
But if the project is garbage, I don't have to like it.
Exactly. Because, I'll say this. Like, for example, you've talked about how you can't fully support Tyler Perry like that. I had to agree with that because it's like, not only how the way he portrays Black men, I feel kind of sideways about, but just the simple fact that it's like, it was damn near the same old song and dance for the past decade until he recently started changing up some of this stuff. Because everything, if it didn't involve Madea, but involved the same type of story set, right? It was guy meets girl, they fall in love, something tragic, right? Or some tragic happens, or some secret comes out that nobody didn't want to know about. Then the guy always run and come to church. Now, don't get me wrong, I have anybody who believes in that because I grew up Christian, but I consider myself more on the spiritual side these days. That's fine, but you ain't gotta beat me over the head with every damn movie.
Well, the only the only rebuttal, if you will, to that I have is when I watched King Embarrass's Black AF.
Okay.
And the episode with Tyler Perry. And he said, and it's the truth. He was like, I know my audience. I give my audience what my audience wants. And
that's
granted, no matter what he can say, no matter what critics may say, Rotten Tomatoes, anybody,
right?
He makes his money at the box office. Now, we all know, so a lot of us know his behind the scenes of non-union work and non-union pay,
right?
Excuse me, which allows for him to generate more revenue. That's not here nor there,
right?
But he does it because it works. Doesn't work for me? No. Does it work for a lot of other people I know? In many cases, no. Does that make me a hater? No. it makes you somebody as I have a fucking opinion.
Basically.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Blackish is dope.
Oh yeah,
right?
definitely.
I think Grownish was dope the way they went with it.
Mm-hmm.
But then you start doing Mixed-ish and all these other shows, and it's just like, again, saying Black AF. You managed to find a formula to get paid off the same thing, which again, am I hating on? Hell no. Get your bread.
Exactly.
If a major studio gonna keep throwing you money to make them projects and keep putting it on the air, make your bread. But it doesn't mean I have to watch it.
Right.
I don't watch Law and Order. You know what I'm saying? I didn't watch Seinfeld. I didn't watch Friends.
No, I definitely didn't watch no damn Friends.
You know what I'm saying? I watched the real one, Living Single. Like,
there you go.
But I don't have to have that.
Right.
And I think people got to understand, like, first and foremost, there's this saying that consistently goes around that a lot of people don't get. We are not a monolith. And yes, that means Black people don't all think, act, and view the same. Now, if you switch that over to another level, when we go political real quick, you have Black, orange, fuck them up as supporters. Now, people will say, "Oh, so you discredited their voices?" Yes. Here's where, and you're gonna call some people may call me hypocritical, but here's where it differs.
There you go.
Their voices are not about helping us at all.
No,
they are on the side of the, for lack of better words, the oppressor.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They don't say shit. Candace Owens, the Hodge twins,
Paris
Denard, Terrence Williams, all these coon ass niggas. They don't say shit that helps the Black community in no way. They're like, oh, again, when they do the whole all lives matter, motherfucker, nobody ever said all lives didn't matter.
No. And like, for example, and not to cut you off again, but for example, like you got guys like Anthony Brian Logan or what's this other fool, the ex-cop Brandon Tatum. How he made the video when They See Us came out on Netflix. He talking about all the guys, Central Park 5, they weren't all that innocent. I don't know why people. I'm like, Negro, shut the hell up.
See, and that's the thing. But another thing, those are motherfuckers like that who are part of the problem. Like, you are helping those who are against us because it was proved. The only reason that was done because it was proven it was proven in court they had been exonerated.
Thank you.
They're not going to be released. They weren't released just because somebody said, "Oh, fuck it, let them go." Evidence came up that proved they didn't do the crime they were charged with. So for an idiot like that to say some shit is just like when Donald Dumbass says it, "Oh, they should have still been in jail." Motherfucker, they weren't exonerated, a legal process, which you have managed to evade for so long. But you have these people who do that, and for a lot of people who are not Black who are watching this, don't get these people hurt the Black community.
Oh, yeah.
Because every Black person is not saying so here's the thing. I know what I just said, we're not a monolith. And I know I said we can think differently. But at the same time, we think differently. We shouldn't think to the way that hurts us. And that's the problem. Those ways they think just hurt us because the people that glom onto them are legit racist and haters. You've always had that house niggas. You've always had field niggas who've tried to appease Stevens and stuff from Django, who've always appeased to those who oppress them. Now, when people say oppression, some people tend to try to go to, "Oh, nobody's being held down." Oppression comes in various forms. And you know this. I know this. Hopefully, motherfuckers who watch this should understand it comes in various forms. You know, and so when you have these idiots who say this dumb shit like this, when you have these idiots who constantly go on these, well, such and such shouldn't be a hero. Nobody said they're heroes. Like Dave Chappelle said in 842, George Floyd wasn't meant to be the hero. He was just the guy.
Right.
He was the guy at the moment. He was the guy that everybody saw because at that moment, everybody had no choice but to be sitting in their fucking house, watch it happen, and repeatedly see it over and over again, and sit there and say, "Oh shit, they haven't been lying." So when you have a Candace Owens, a Paris Denard, all these other people we've named come out and say, "Well, this is what his criminal record is." I don't give a fuck what his record was in the past. Nobody's record in the past, unless it literally is affecting the moment that they were arrested, it doesn't matter.
It does not whatsoever.
It does not matter. And so people keep trying to use this shit. "Oh, they're not a perfect person." Let me tell you something. I got a pass. I don't give a fuck.
Same here.
You know what I'm saying? But it does not make me who I am today. What I do at this moment is a different thing. It doesn't mean I'm not indicative of my past. I learned from my past, which I'm assuming you have. We learn from it and we move on from it. But it irks the shit out of me because I see all these races. Terry Crews does this dumb shit.
Man,
and then you try to tell him, you're like, "Yo, look at your replies. Look at your mentions." You know what I'm saying? Look who are supporting and agreeing with you. People who've wanted to say Black people are bad, Black people are animals, that we're savages, or just have negative things. Oh, they don't want to try to uplift themselves. People who want to say that shit, now they have a reason to say, "Well, he agrees with me, so I must be right."
Oh, and it's funny that you mentioned Terry Crews because a while back when that whole incident with him being sexually assaulted happened, and I forgot he had mentioned something that Cheeto Face had said, and out of blue, out of nowhere, Dean Cain, aka the worst Superman ever, decides to call himself, give him a pat on the back via Twitter, be like, "There you go, man. There you go. Ride with the president." Blah blah blah. I'm like, man, shut your whack Superman ass up.
Dean Cain, Scott Baio, and all these other now irrelevant motherfuckers keep trying to find a way to keep themselves in the limelight. Don't nobody give a shit about Dean Cain no more.
Definitely not.
Like, they did the Arrowverse shit for Crisis, and they completely skipped over his because they didn't even want to be bothered with it.
Right. And call me petty, but ever since that episode back in the day in Different World that he was on, the racism episode,
it lets you know something.
Yeah. And I've told people this. It was like, oh, see you being paid. I'm like, no, watch and learn what he's saying. Like recently with the George Floyd stuff that happened, and he called himself mocking the Black Lives Matter movement with, smug ass, arrogant smirk on his face, trying to take jabs. I'm like, man, get your punk ass out of here, dude.
It's him, James Woods, all these
James Woods, Scott Baio, like you said.
And again, you don't try to say, you don't automatically want to go to people are racist. Now, there is a thing we're taught as Black people. You can either agree or disagree that inherently you have to look at the majority of white people as racist as they hate you because of the history. But until they show you different, that's, you don't judge. It's not saying judge them off the skin. It's all judging off the behavior. Because I've known the most friendly, open white people ever who I've had fun around. I've traveled, even in wrestling, I've traveled the roads with. But recently, shit has shown me how they truly feel.
Same here.
And so it's like, now I have to go off your actions. Now, when I meet you, I give you the chance to be fair up front.
Exactly.
I give you your person I meet. You're just a person that happens to be a white person or a Latinx person or a Black person or whatever. But people start showing who they really fucking are. And then you get somebody that wants to just mock movements. And then again, like going back to Dean Cain on A Different World. Right. People are like, oh, that's just acting. Sometimes some people get to play a role so close to their heart, they love it.
Exactly. And the funny, ironic part is that even when he did the episode and even after he did Lois and Clark, whatever, it's funny how he feels and thinks the way he feels, but yet will still make money off our behalf. Because if you remember, the TV show, I think was called Hit the Floor, that starred Logan Browning and Kimberly Elise. It was about cheerleading and basketball. I remember that the show. He was like, he was like a coach or something like that on there, and he was on there for a couple seasons. Then I remember he did something with Vivica Fox a couple times, a couple of indie movies with Vivica Fox like that, and I'm like, okay, you the kind of person that you are, but yet you still have no issue
making money off the backs of
right.
And I know there are going to be some people who watch this eventually. This opens up to my whole public YouTube channel. Who are like, well, the same thing happens with Black people make money off white people. Absolutely, people will make money off people regardless of color.
Right.
Money is the color green. Money is the most essential color, no matter what. Mm-hmm. But when we're talking about American systemic racism with Black people, it's like at the end of the day, the reason the Black Lives Matter movement, which people also came into, it's a Marxist movement, blah, 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 blah. They just want to take everything from white people. Like, first of all, really? I didn't know that. It's just funded by George Soros. Who the fuck is dude? Also, if dude is so... Here's the problem I have with the whole George Soros shit.
There we go.
I don't know who he is. He's some dude, supposedly. If this motherfucker has that much money to fund all these projects that are that try to make a change in life, this dude needs to be must have more money than Jeff Bezos. He has to. Because every time you turn around, it's just funded by him. No, it's not. No. People are coming out of their own pockets to support, to put towards funds to help get people out of jail and shit like that. All in all, it was said in this video that went viral on last night tonight, and I say it again, I say it always to people that I get into these discussions and debates with on social media. Mm-hmm. You lucky Black people just want equality and not revenge. Man. Oh boy! And then you get the people with the Second Amendment gun nuts in some of the little red states or those backwater towns and states that are supposedly blue.
Like those idiots in Indiana who almost lynched that brother. What was that? A couple weeks ago.
While people were recording,
right?
My thing is this too. My thing is that you bring up, we got guns. Yeah, but You act like motherfuckers don't have access to them too. But I'm not even going off gunfight, but it's just that if you were that your innate fear is that much of being viewed at on the same level, like not even just the revenge on the death part. Like, what do all these, not all white people, but these idiot racists, what do you think black people want to do? Just take you from your homes, rip you, separate your families, and then sell you off and use you as property, and then sometimes just degrade you, like separate husbands and wives, mothers from children, and just have you work for free. And if you do the simplest, the meanest little minor thing, you just make a minor infraction, we whip and beat you, and then all of a sudden we just keep selling you at auctions because we don't want you no more. Do you think we do that? That would just be wrong, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. But then, that's something they like to hold on to for the sake of the fragility / victimism.
Like, what? That would be, I mean, like, just, would you think, like, black people would just all of a sudden decide to say, we're going to enslave white people? That would be wrong. Like, slavery would be wrong. Like, to sit there and say, oh, I'm just going to separate you. Like, that's what these racists think. What do you think? Like, we're just going to come into homes and just start saying, your TV is now mine? No. That would be just wrong. But yet and still, you have people who don't want to admit it. That's what the fuck their fears are.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
That's what the fuck their fears are. I fucking hate it, bro. Because it's like, yes, should we all as a people get along? Potentially, yeah, because we're all here. At the end of the day, if you're that afraid of black people, you might really want to check yourself because black people are only 13% of the population of the United States of America. 13, bro. Now, when you put all the minorities in America together, yes, we are the majority.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Minorities collectively are the majority. But you don't have the collective minorities trying to overtake.
Right.
No one has tried to overthrow just white people because that's been this fear of the racists primarily.
Mm-hmm.
That they're just going to take us over and they're just going to enslave us and do this. They're going to do to us what we did to them. That's basically what they think.
Oh yeah,
and it's like this shit ain't gonna happen, man. I don't get it, man. I just don't, bro.
I don't get it either. It's just like, as much as I've come up, being part of like an all-black private school from Providence St. Mel, coming up in the 90s and such, class of 96, Providence St. Mel. And then to go on to...
St. Mel was the high school, right?
Yeah. And then the year after I graduated, that's when they went from, first grade on to 12th.
Yeah, because I remember Providence St. Mel was going like, all of a sudden they were like co-ed. They were a full ass, you could take your child all the way through.
Yep.
Because I went to St. Rita for grammar school. I got there in 7th grade. So I did 7th and 8th there. And then I went to Rita for my freshman and beginning of my sophomore year. But then I finished out at Harper. So I remember the whole Catholic school shit. So it was just class of 98. That's how I'm Harper class of 98. That's how I'm going to date myself.
That's what's up. And then like to go from that and then to go to college, starting off at Columbia for a couple of years, just getting the whole feel and vibe of, just being in a multicultural setting, and then to be in the work area, whether I was, working at Walgreens back in the day or working where I work at now, and just seeing how people's vibes and mindsets are who are not black, but then they just either go through automatic assumptions or they get this, oh, I never knew vibe. But it's like, this is what happens when you rely on, other forms of media to think this is how I'm supposed to be because of the color of my skin and not, the content of my character.
I'm so glad you brought up that one because it brings up, everybody bringing up Dr. King. Like it's always, again, well, what about Dr. King's dream? Like, first of all, you would have sided with the Birmingham Police Department.
Right.
You decided with the police, not Dr. King.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm same way. So when I went to grammar school, I went to a school called True Believers Christian Academy. Black private school. Then I went to St. Rita. Now I had white teachers for the first time. I had a white teacher for the first time, but still was a black school.
Right.
When I got to St. Rita, my first year, that's when everything was mixed because it was all mixed students. but it was all boys.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that was kind of different. That was when I first started learning about I'd always heard about racism, but I learned about it firsthand. Because even when I was going to grammar school, I used to have to get allergy injections and allergy tests like weekly. My allergies were so bad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But there was one little boy who we were there at the same time every single week, and we became friends.
Mm-hmm.
His name was Tony Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Tony was a white boy. Mm-hmm. Tony and I laughed and joked and talked about Super Mario 3, all this other shit. Again, I'm like his mom liked me, my mom liked him. We were all just friends. There was nothing.
Right.
When I got to St. Rita, that's when I found out about racism. Mm-hmm. And it was literally because you forget that throughout the beauty of this city we live in,
exactly,
it's still the most segregated piece of shit ever.
Yes, it is, sadly.
It's the most segregated. As beautiful as this motherfucking city is, it is still segregated to its heart.
Yes,
it is still racism at its core here. And people act like that's not a thing. And so that's why I learned, because again, being on the South Side, you would automatically think everybody would get along. But then you learn that ain't possible, because just because I'm from the South Side, there's another part of the South Side that's called Mount Greenwood. That,
man,
you know,
and I ain't too far away from them.
You know
I'll just say that.
Where you have most of the police officers live there, but also hella racist, right?
Yeah.
Hella racist. You have sections of Evergreen Park. Well, because Evergreen Park is its own suburb. But Mount Greenwood is the city.
Oh, yeah.
Racist as fuck. The back of the yards, Canaryville neighborhood, Canaryville especially, not good for black people.
Oh, no.
Bridgeport, not good.
No.
So, I mean, as of now, Bridgeport is becoming more integrated.
Yeah, it's become more cultural.
It's becoming more cultural, so it has no choice.
Right.
But these are areas, again, Bridgeport still has its little flaws, but Mount Greenwood has not changed.
Oh, no.
Has not changed. And people forget that, and so people think that, oh, you see all that. Again, like I said, going to St. Rita, I started seeing that. I started realizing, oh, some of these white boys are racist as shit. Okay, cool. Then I went to Harvard. I went from private school education for the longest to public school, because after a while my mother couldn't afford it anymore.
I'm sure.
That's when I learned, okay, shit's real for people. Because, like, again, I had one perception. I see people. I see my neighborhood. I know how my neighborhood lives. I know how some people who are struggling in the block live. I know those things. Everybody ain't got perfect lawns around my house. Everybody ain't got manicured bushes and shrubbery. No, shit's real. Right. Some people don't have lawns. We got that. We knew that. So I knew that. But going to Harper was when I realized shit is really real in a lot of places. It's really real in a lot of neighborhoods. But neighborhoods I would only just go past when I'm driving with somebody, riding with somebody. And I started seeing all this shit and opened my eyes to a lot. Then when I graduated, I thought I was going to go to Chicago State. But I didn't have, financially, I didn't get the grants, the FAFSA and all that. Money didn't come through, so I couldn't go. So then I instantly started working. I instantly went to working. And I went from working to all of a sudden trying to chase my dream as a pro wrestler. And then that opened up doors, and I started doing all that. But I started seeing what racism was, not early, but it was lucky that I got to see it after seeing the beauty of cultural differences. If that's the best thing to say. You know what I'm saying? No, because if I'd have never saw it in that little white boy named Tony Smith, while we're talking about Super Mario Bros. 3, if Tony Smith would have been like a 8 to 10-year-old kid who called another 8 to 10-year-old black kid a little nigger or a porch monkey, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. That impression that would have been felt upon me would have carried over no matter what. Exactly. But then I saw it in high school, and then I started realizing, oh yeah, these neighborhoods are like that. These neighborhoods are. This shit get real. But again, people forget about that. When it comes down to it, like, I hate hearing racism isn't real. People just make it up, or it's only just a few people, because that's a fucking lie. Yeah, it is. Racism isn't always just somebody calling us a nigger. Racism ain't always somebody talking about you black bastards or something like that. It ain't always just the most upfront things that people think the shit is all the time, man.
Or I got one even better. And this happened to me like a couple of times, like the past decade, when somebody refers to you as the whitest black dude they know.
Oh my God.
Because you don't say the N-word every 5 seconds, or if you don't do the stereotypical stuff that they've seen and heard black people do, then you all of a sudden want to be white now just because you like what you like, whether it's Marvel, DC, Star Wars, etc., or if you like some rock music, or if some of your favorite actors or actresses are white, along with some that are black also. It's like, just because I like things like that, that don't mean shit about me trying to be like you. I'm gonna be me 100 regardless. I'm proud of that. It's just the fact that I'm not gonna be, running around trying to wear name brand clothes, breaking my bank, trying to fit the stereotype that you think I should fit. Because I have no issue shopping at some places like Ross or Burlington or something like that. I don't have no issue, eating stuff, whether it's like, me shopping at Aldi's and so on and so forth or what have you. I don't have to live how you think I should live because I'm my own man. I'm my own person. And the people who know me and truly give a damn about me, they know how I rock. So for you to say that stupid ass shit, and refers to the person who said that to me, it just shows how much fucking ignorant you are.
If it's not being called the whitest black person, it's being called one of the good ones. I've had that. And I experienced that through stand-up more than anything, because when you're doing stand-up, you don't always make money at your home spots.
Right.
You can make some money, but you ain't making all your money. So you hit the road. And living here, the easiest thing to do is hit Indiana, Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, Iowa, all the surrounding areas, right? I remember doing a show in Syracuse, Indiana. Now, a lot of people don't know, you might know where it is. Tell people one thing about Syracuse, Indiana. The only thing darker than me that was there in Syracuse was the night sky.
Wow.
That was it. I remember driving to go do the show. I had to pass horse and buggies, like the Amish was there. I walked in. It was a bar show. It was a bar. I walked in, looked, and it had that moment, like the record needle, like a needle on a record scratched. People looked. So take that moment. I was like, all right, fuck it. So I go. I'm like, all right, this is just gonna be what it's gonna be. So I go to the bathroom. I see the flyer for the show. I'm on the flyer. And I'm like, I'm on one of the flyers right above the toilet. But I'm like, well, at least they know I'm coming.
Right.
It's like, all right, cool. Get to the show already started. I was wondering who was open because I was headlining it. I was like, who's opening? And I found out it was one of my homeboys. He's a Mexican dude. I was like, cool. He's opening. First of all, it's cool because I know somebody, but it's a Mexican dude and a black dude.
Right.
In a white part of town, very white part of Indiana. I was like, okay, cool. So me and him even talking about like, this shit's gonna be weird. Luckily, I know how to deal with the situation, how to make an awkward situation comfortable. I'm that confident in my abilities as a stand-up.
Right.
Great set, rock it. After the show, I'm selling merchandise. People want to buy merch from me now. You know what I'm saying? That's the goal. You kill the show, people want to buy merch, make some more money.
Right.
Doing all this. White guy, older white dude, beard and shit. You know what? You're one of the good ones.
Oh my God.
I said, you know what? All right, that means it's time for me to go.
Yeah, basically.
As soon as he said that, it was time for me to go. Because if that statement is willing to come out your mouth, that means some more shit can come out of other people's mouths.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
With the quickness, and shit can go wrong. I've even had it where I've done shows, and I've had a white woman come up to me flirting, trying to, you know what I'm saying, fuck. And her husband or boyfriend is like, yeah, you should go ahead and fuck. Nope. Because it's more so, you should come back to our place. No.
Nah, hell no.
No.
No get out moments for me.
Just keep it at 100 with you, bro. As much as that sounds dope, like, yo, as a comic, this dude want me to fuck his wife.
Right.
And I could have, and the wife was gay. Like, it sounds theoretically like you can't possibly lose. Everybody is a consensual participant in this. But you ain't in the neighborhood for this shit to happen.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I get it. It's a fetish. It's a
big
fetish.
time fetish.
It's a fetish. I get it. But at the same time, I don't trust that shit. Like, because I come up missing, then I'm just missing. You know what I'm saying? And I know a couple buddies of mine who was like, man, I just took them up on that offer. I was like, yeah, you can. I don't have that luxury to do so easily.
Right.
Like, don't get me wrong, I've had that opportunity numerous of times as a comic because there is something about when you entertain someone and if they find you in a slight bit attractive, alcohol plays a factor too. Next thing you know, they're auctioning off and they're opening up doors per se. But it's like, yo, I don't want to, what happens if I go fuck this wife with the husband, right? They both were cool with it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the wife said, I didn't rape her. Guess whose words it is against mine? The two of them.
Against yours.
Against mine. No matter how much I say, like, yo, that's the only reason I was there. Like, this was consensual.
Right, exactly.
Like, what are you talking about?
And, it's kind of like how, and to go in a different direction a little bit, like with how we all know how everything went down with Kobe before, he sadly passed, and how that whole trial and situation went down. Even though he was exonerated from that, and even though he was clear because of the evidence that was found, you still got people who still want to shoot him down saying, oh, he's a rapist. Oh, he's a rapist. Whether it was that idiot Ari Shaffir, the damn chick, Evan Rachel Wood from Westworld, or even worse, freaking Abigail Disney. Just constantly just continuing to call this man rapist, and did it at the most bogus time when he passed.
Yeah, like if somebody is a rape, like I think I agree. I never will disagree that sexual assault is wrong. Sexual assault is wrong.
Oh yeah, it's definitely wrong.
If you, by all means, prosecute and punish those to the fullest extent. But and if they are exonerated, I need to make sure they're exonerated clearly. Because sometimes you can have one little thing change it. I get that.
Right.
You can have a little bit of paper wasn't like people have been exonerated from murder cases because an I wasn't dotted, a T wasn't crossed, a box wasn't checked.
Right.
So yeah, I get those. Those you still need to be like leery of. But if things come out proven, man or woman, that this person was not in the wrong, then cool. I forgot the full details. I know something about some people trying to say, well, she has a sexual past of being promiscuous and blah, blah, blah. And say that don't apply to that moment, which is true, which is very true. But again, at the end of the day, no matter who it is, and I know, yes, we believe women, we don't know the story. The story just is known between her, Kobe, God.
Yep.
Because those are the only accounts we have.
Right.
Unfortunately, we don't have a video account. We don't have an audio account. But to say there are people who, like, if something happens to a black dude, to go back to what you were saying, if you're charged with something, not convicted, just charged. Charges can be dropped.
Oh, yeah. That
label now follows you.
Yep.
And it very much is telltale of the world in which we live in. Now in today's day and age, now that same stigma and that same thing follows other men, as it should. Louis C.K., he has it, but I think that's the difference too when it comes to certain people. I never say anything about cancel culture because I don't believe that's a thing.
Right.
The fans who support, no matter what, are going to support. Louis C.K. makes an album. People don't. Louis C.K. he can sell out any place still, no matter what.
Oh yeah. Kobe
Bryant, even after the accusations, was still able to sell out the Staples Center. There was a celebration for that man's retirement.
Yep.
The world over.
Yep.
Now, some people say, yeah, you shouldn't celebrate a terrible person. I don't know when it comes to Kobe. Again, I know what was said. I know what I read. I did not find myself going super deep into that case because I just, didn't care. Because at the end, and this makes people like, why do you say it like that? Because I don't. What Kobe Bryant's legal situation is
really nobody's concerned.
Nobody's personal concern. Now, granted, if you're somebody else who's had a situation with an athlete, a celebrity, and shit like that, then yes, you're going to pay close attention to that. But Kobe's thing was like, this is what's happening. This is what they've said. This is the stuff I've read that was on both sides. Like, okay, so she was a slut, a hoe, whatever. That's fine. Right. I know a bunch of hoes, as people would call them, who have been unfortunately raped by niggas who they told no, and the nigga thought he was just supposed to get something because of what she does.
Just because, right?
Like, that's not how this goes.
No, it doesn't.
That's not how this goes at all. So I get that. But it was just so much with it. And it's just, but again, the label follows. Because the thing is, the people have gone, we as a society as a whole, black, white, everybody in just society in the world, have given the court of public opinion way too much power.
Way too much power, indeed.
I think because the court of public opinion, it convicts you before anything. It convicts you like that. Nothing else matters. The court of public opinion, you are brought up against, something's brought up against you, that you're just automatically guilty. Shit can go in your favor and prove you were good. Again, it doesn't even have to be as far as sexual assault, murder, anything.
Right.
The most minute things. But the court of public opinion,
they'll be like, nah. They'll be like, hold my beer.
Yup, and it brands you that. And I think the court of public opinion is something we can't get rid of, unfortunately.
Sadly.
We've always had it. That's one thing. The court of public opinion has always been around. It's just never had a name. And also, it's never been as strong until social media became a thing.
Right.
When social media became a thing, then shit like, yo, everybody got to say something about something. And everybody's like, oh, well, this person's terrible. It's like, so because you and a bunch of people who don't know this person hear something that happens, whether true or false, that automatically makes them terrible. Now, if it's proven false, you still hold them terrible. But people who know them and know the situations, they're like, that didn't happen. Again, I'm not using this for people listening in regards to sexual assault, because I know first and foremost we're supposed to believe women, and I'm not one of them dudes that go off of that whole, well, and I'm usually just here sitting there.
Right.
Well, Chauncey, my nigga, so I've always seen him be good with women, so Chauncey couldn't do that shit. Like, I don't like those, because people try to use those like, well, because again, somebody can snap out and just, because we know when it comes out to assault, physical, mental, sexual, that doesn't dictate all the time what a person is, because a person can have that moment and snap out. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
So I don't say we don't listen to people, but I just at the same time don't become part of this court, this unofficial jury that has already sentenced someone. Like, and the sentence is just a lifetime of public shaming almost.
Right.
And that is a sentence that is, I don't think it's hard. It's not extremely harsh, but it's harsh.
It is.
Because it follows you. Anytime somebody gets hired somewhere, somebody says something about something, it's like, oh, you're going to hire that person? Well, here's an article you might want to read, or here's that. And it's like, even with men and women, it's like, yo, some mistakes are made. There's truth. And some people do rehabilitate and change after shit like that.
Right.
If they've done that, they've shown they've done that, they've put in forth the effort, and even if the offended parties, if there are, have forgiven and moved forward, the court of public opinion should as well.
Yeah. Like, to kind of piggyback off that too, like, for example, well, you already know you already went over how the whole thing with like Hartley Sawyer went down with the Flash cast or whatever after that. And then now how you got stuff like with Mel Gibson or Hulk Hogan, or like a little while ago recently, Trina McGee, I think her name is, from Boy Meets World, how she came out and said she was racially abused and profiled by her castmates. And supposedly only a couple of them came out and apologized. So it was kind of like, what kind of goes through your mindset when it comes to hearing those type of deals? So
I'll bring up Hartley Sawyer first.
Okay.
Because my biggest thing is, like, I know comedians, we joke about shit, we say shit, and everybody says no topic is off limits. And I don't think race is always an off limits topic. I don't think sex is an off limits topic. I think it's how you go about it. So, like, if you're just trying to be racist for the sake of being racist, no. If you're being sexist for the sake of being sexist, homophobic, et cetera, His shit was from years ago.
Right.
When did like 24? What was it, like 2014?
Yeah, 2014.
Which means somebody had to either have a grudge against him, or somebody just has nothing to do in their life, but decide to say, I'm gonna go through this random person's tweets.
Mm-hmm.
That shit upsets me because you can't find a tweet from 2014 unless you went digging.
That's what it sounds like. Somebody dug.
You went looking for some shit like that. And there's a statement that says if you're looking for something, you're gonna find it.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna find it. When it comes to what Trina McGee says she went through on Boy Meets World, I'm not shocked. You know why?
What?
David Yost. Billy, the original Blue Ranger.
Oh wow.
Billy went through a bunch of shit about, being gay bashed and everything, and went through hell in the hot. He's openly talked about that, how he almost wanted to kill himself.
Oh wow.
He went through so much about being gay, and they were, just demeaning him and making fun of him and mocking him and shit like that. So to say that Trina McGee went through it, yes, I definitely believe it. But the fact when too, also people say, that. Because I think it was the girl that played Topanga.
Yeah, she was
Danielle,
one of them, supposedly. Danielle Fisher.
Yeah. She was the one who said it. I'm sorry. My thing is, people will ask too, why do people bring it up? So when you ask that question, why do people all of a sudden bring it up? Especially people who say they were profiled and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think now is a platform where people pay attention to it. Because some people never address shit. There's some shit that needs to be addressed.
Right.
Like there's some people who were assholes in the past who, granted, they'll admit it. When they admit it, everybody's like, you know what? It takes a big person to admit you fucked up. But when you're just trying to do it, just trying to scrutinize and destroy somebody, that's all it involves. Because I don't think you're trying, when Trina McGee did it, I don't know what her thought process was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she was trying to do it to be like, I'm going to destroy this chick.
Right.
I don't think she was doing it for that. I think she was like, yo, I've been a victim of this shit before. Like, I'm not exempt from it.
Mm-hmm.
And because, especially, I'm not exempt because it was on one of these very popular shows that y'all all love, that you don't see. You just see the final product. You don't see behind the scenes. And of course, that shit still happens to this day.
Oh yeah. Like, kind of example with The Shy. Quiet as kept. I enjoyed watching The Shy. I'm into the better half of season 3 right now. But then when I hear about the stuff that went down with like Jason Mitchell and one of the female co-stars, or how one of the other actors got written off because he didn't want to do any type of intimate scenes with a transsexual actress or what have you. It's like,
what do you think about that?
With that, I mean,
it's a slippery slope.
Yeah,
that's why I asked.
And I have no issue with it per se. Hey, you live how you live, be the person you are. At the same time, too, it's like, I know we got to do it for the sake of acting. So am I able to put my pride aside and do this? Or do I have to hold on to my manhood and be like, I don't know if I could do this, that type of thing. And do it in a respectful manner.
And I'm glad you answered that, because I've been wanting to ask that question to somebody and how they feel about it. Because if the question was posed to me, would I do it? I probably would not.
Right.
Now, why? It's just, again, I don't have to be attracted. I respect the lifestyle any trans person lives.
Right.
Because that's the life you choose to live. You live it as yourself. You want to be your true and honest self. And that's who you are.
Right.
That is fair. I will call you by your pronouns. I will respect you as the person you are.
Exactly.
Not the person you were.
Person.
However, if my belief is, again, I don't have to date a skinnier woman. I don't have to date a heavier set woman.
Right.
I don't have to date a dark skin, a light skin, a white, a black, a brown. I'm allowed my preferences. So if my preference doesn't go, I just don't feel right, you can't force that on me.
No,
that's my belief.
Right.
But also the caveat, and I know people are going to say it's not the same. Neil McDonough, a great actor.
I've watched him for years.
Has a clause in his contract that says he is not allowed to curse because of his religious beliefs.
Oh, wow. I never knew that.
In any role you ever see Neil McDonough, he will never swear. He doesn't swear. Everybody else around him will. He is not going to swear because he is a devout Christian.
Okay.
I am not saying I'm using religious beliefs in that situation.
Right.
But a person should be allowed a personal belief.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot scorn somebody if he's not dismissing the actress. It's like, fuck, this is not kissing nobody that used to be a man, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
If he's just like, I don't want to do that. I just personally don't feel comfortable.
Right.
You can't, it's not saying that he's transphobic. It's just the person doesn't want to kiss a transsexual. It's just a thing. It's just a personal thing. And I know people hear it and go so many different ways about it. But again, personal preferences.
Exactly.
Again, we let straight people be who straight people want to be with. We let homosexual people be who they want to be with. Trans people be who they are in terms of being who they want to be with.
Right.
Pansexuals and so much more upon the spectrum of sexuality. But you can't, I understand it's acting. And I understand some people like, well, it's toxic masculinity that's keeping them. It's not, I don't think it's toxic to have a choice.
No, it's not toxic.
There are many men who are like, yo, it's just acting. There are many men who kiss other men on camera, because they're like, well, I know who I am. I'm cool with it. I just want to do it. That's fine. But it's just it's a personal thing. Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody has to go to toxic masculinity and say, oh, you won't do this because of that. I really, because no one would say that to a female actress if she didn't want to kiss another woman or if she didn't want to kiss a trans man. Mm-hmm. I think because we look at things always on one side, we don't look at it as the other. Again, I think the biggest thing, and I'm trying to be respectful all the way through with this.
Oh yeah,
you're respectful of the person. It's just, again, case in point. Mm-hmm. We dudes, let's say we're at a club, we meet a woman, we see a woman we think is attractive.
Right.
We walk up to her, we're in a club. Hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And she says, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. Now, the perfect thing to do is, thank you.
Right, cool. Have a good day.
Have a good evening. Yeah. Move on. There are idiots who will push the envelope. But at the same time, you have to remember, no matter what, that's her preference. Because we may see her tell us, no, I'm not interested, right? You think she don't want to be bothered. But then see another dude who she considers better looking, walks up, and now she goes to conversation. That's her preference.
Right, and that's fine.
And that's fine. I think we have to look at that in every situation. And yeah, I understand it's a job. I understand it's work. And again, I can say I wouldn't. I can honestly say right now I wouldn't. Mm-hmm. I can say that now, and I say that because when I'm on set and if I'm in a series regular role, I'm gonna call it what it is.
Oh yeah,
I'm a series regular. I'm working as a recurring regular guest star on a TV show, and I'm making bank. And all I gotta do is, if I gotta kiss you, hey man, I might have to pucker up. Here's why: because pride comes before the fall. Number one.
Yeah.
My preference may not be to be with that person.
Right.
Let's say my preference may not be to, be there intimately and all this, but this is work. Let's do this.
Right. Exactly.
I've had to wrestle with men, and again, professional wrestling sounds like the gayest shit ever, but I've done shows with men who are openly gay, and their characters are flamboyantly gay, and their character does a lot of things that most people consider uncomfortable.
Right.
But you work it out. So again, it's work. Again, he wouldn't get intimate. People forget you're not actually fucking.
No, you're pretending. You're not actually doing it.
Right. Your dick is not going to accidentally slide unless you intend. Your dick don't accidentally slide on anybody. Plus, you have on socks and all this shit.
Right.
9 times out of 10, unless they're doing it where you see the bottom half, you're under a sheet. You got on some real tight underwear.
Right.
Y'all good. I just don't. It's a catch-22 because again, it's the person's personal preference.
Right.
My personal preference. Would I ever directly say I'd kiss a trans woman? Directly, my answer is no. Because again, that's my preference. Nothing against. I know a bunch of trans women. Mm-hmm. But if I'm in a scene and you're saying, yo, you gotta be intimate with her on this scene. Well, fuck it. That's what we doing. Like, this is work. Because guess what? It doesn't change who I am as a person. Because I think that becomes the issue too. Like you said, and I'm not down on what you said. Because
no,
you
I
said,
get it.
I'm secure about manhood, no I am. Does it change who I am as a person if I do that for the scene? No. 9 times out of 10, you know what that shit does? It gets a bunch of other roles. And then I know there's a bunch of dudes who will turn around and hit us and go, see, that's part of the gay agenda. They just
right. See, they're gonna.
Yeah, they just try to emasculate niggas. And I don't think it's emasculating anybody because, again, it's literally just me putting on a role. Now, again, the dress thing, there's so much people like, oh, they're just trying to emasculate the black man. That had been a thing for a while. We know about that in slavery times.
Right.
We know that was a thing. We know there's been a whole thing with men putting on dresses, some most willingly too.
Mm-hmm.
We always can't say people are just forced to put on a dress. I don't think everything is just an emasculation.
No, because funny that you mentioned that, because there's an upcoming series, I think, for Showtime that Jordan Peele is executive producer, and it stars Ethan Hawke. And there's a young black actor in it. But I noticed in previews, they got him in like a dress or whatever like that. And this is like back in like, Old West slave times.
Mm-hmm.
So good and well, of course, that commentary is going to come up. It was like, see, this is what they're doing. This is what they're thinking of us. This is what Jordan Peele thinks of us, blah, blah, blah. And all that BS.
And here's the problem I always have with that statement.
Mm-hmm.
This is the number one problem I have with this statement. I understand before I go any further, because I know again people watch this.
Right.
I understand the whole breaking the buck thing.
Mm-hmm.
I got that. But at the same time, why is it we have never once that I know of said anything about white actors who go ahead and put dresses on?
Man.
Like, let's just be real.
Right. Shoot. For example, my old 8th grade English teacher, who is an actor now, he had a short-lived TV show on ABC where him and his, I guess, roommate or buddy, wherever, like it was Latino, they both had lost their jobs or something like that. This was the plot of the show, by the way. And for them to make their income and stuff like that, they had to work in the office, but it was primarily with women.
So they dressed
in
the job.
Exactly. And I was like, that's odd to see him like that, but hey, he making it work. More power to him.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's whatever.
Yeah, because I always hear that. And I always hear, oh, black men, are being emasculated and they're looked down upon and whatnot. And you're like, motherfucker, there's a bunch of white dudes in dresses consistently. And I understand, yes, again, going back to systemic racism, I understand. But at the same token, if you take that part out, which is very difficult, you can say people are trying to emasculate them. Or anybody. And it doesn't have to be John Leguizamo's worn a dress.
Wesley Snipes has worn one.
But again, that's a black dude.
Yeah, you're right.
Because again, you go to 2 on Food movie like that, and it's like, stop. That shit is annoying.
Yeah. And like, even going back with the late Patrick Swayze.
He wore one in the movie.
And women would still love him.
I think that's the biggest thing. Like, people forget. These dudes you see wear dresses still are getting a whole lot of female ass. Mm-hmm. Women are still flocking to them. So clearly their manhood per se isn't changed much. And the perception of them isn't changed because the women are like, yo.
Right.
Like, the fuck? Like, I don't know, man.
I don't know either, bro. I don't know either.
Hey, bro, look, man, I appreciate this. Again, I've been telling everybody these one-on-ones have been more fun for me than anybody else. I know y'all doing y'all thing and y'all sport. But for me, I've had the most fun because we get to have conversations like this.
Exactly.
Shit just goes the way it needs to go.
Mm-hmm.
Again, unfiltered, candid, raw.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And thank you, bro, as always, seriously, for supporting me in my endeavors.
And much love and much respect. I got you 100 on this. And I mean, shout out to everybody else who supports this man. He deserves it. And, we need more voices like him out here doing not just the nerd stuff, but just, real stuff like this also, because we just need just a real voice that means well, not just somebody who's just going to say something to fit their own little agenda and be like, hey, listen, he listens to me. He listens to me. He knows up. This is a man who speaks from the heart. He speaks from the soul, and he just wants to touch people the best way he can. No waterworks, man. Come on now.
I know they are available to me. Talk to me in social media. Tell the people how they can find you.
You can find me at Instagram on CCW_78. You can find me at Chauncey Prime on Twitter, or you can find me at Chauncey C. Woodson on Facebook.
Y'all already know. Mr. Jim is Twitter and Instagram. Mr. Jim. It means a lot.
Oh, man.
Dan, thank you, Chauncey. Seriously, man, I appreciated the dog that came over because he thought I was
Right. He was like, "What you do with my boy?"
But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed another edition of 101 with the Super Villain, man. I'm enjoying doing these. We got some more coming again. As long as they're members of the squad at this tier, once a month we have these candid conversations all in full. So holla at y'all later. Take care. I'm out. Bye.
Peace.